Study methods that actually work. Study Tips series. As a student, it's imperative to develop effective time management and study techniques that will help you retain the most information. When studying, cramming the night before doesn't cut it anymore. Try some of these effective study tips. First, you need to create the conditions in your body and external environment to successfully learn and retain information. Here are some study habits worth trying. Switch up your environment. Eliminate distractions. Get a good night's sleep. Listen to calming music. Snack on smart foods. Now let's have a look at some study methods and tips that actually work. 1. The SQ3R method. The SQ3R method is a reading comprehension technique that helps students identify important facts and retain information within their textbooks. SQ3R is an acronym that stands for the 5 steps of the reading comprehension process. Try these steps for a more efficient and effective study session. Survey. Instead of reading the entire book, start by skimming the first chapter and taking notes on any headings, subheadings, images, or other standout features like charts. Question. Formulate questions around the chapter's content, such as, what is this chapter about? What do I already know about this subject? Read. Begin reading the full chapter and look for answers to the questions you formulated. Recite. After reading a section, summarize in your own words what you just read. Try recalling and identifying major points and answering any questions from the second step. Review. Once you have finished the chapter, it's important to review the material to fully understand it. Quiz yourself on the questions you created and reread any portions you need to. 2. Retrieval Practice. Retrieval practice is based on the concept of remembering at a later time. Recalling an answer to a question improves learning more than looking for the answer in your textbook. If you practice retrieval, you are more likely to remember the information later on. Here are some ways you can implement the retrieval process into your study routine. Utilize practice tests. Use practice tests or questions to quiz yourself without looking at your book or notes. Make your own questions. Be your own teacher and create questions you think would be on a test. If you're in a study group, encourage others to do the same and trade questions. Use flashcards. Create flashcards, but make sure to practice your retrieval technique. Instead of flipping a card over prematurely, write the answer down and then check. 3. The PQ4R method. This method takes an active approach to learning that improves memorization and understanding of the topic. Similar to the SQ3R method, PQ4R is an acronym that stands for the 6 steps in the process. Preview. Preview the information before you start reading to get an idea of the subject. Skim the material and read only the headings, subheadings, and highlighted text. Question. Ask yourself questions related to the topic, such as, what do I expect to learn? What do I already know about this topic? Read. Read the information one section at a time and try to identify answers to your questions. Reflect. Did you answer all of the questions? If not, go back and see if you can find the answers. Recite. In your own words, either verbalize or write down a summary of the information you just read. Review. Look over the material one more time and answer any questions that have not yet been answered. 4. The Feynman Technique. It's based on the idea that if you want to understand something well, try to explain it simply. What that means is that by attempting to explain a concept in your own words, you are likely to understand it a lot faster. Let's take a look at how it works. 1. Write the subject or concept you are studying at the top of a sheet of paper. 2. Then explain it in your own words as if you were teaching someone else. 3. Review what you wrote and identify any areas where you were wrong. Once you have identified them, go back to your notes or reading material and figure out the correct answer. 4. Lastly, if there are any areas in your writing where you used technical terms or complex language, go back and rewrite these sections in simpler terms for someone who doesn't have the educational background you have. Stay tuned for episode 2, where we share more useful study methods that actually work.